Hello, Dr. Bill here. Today we're going to look at using the so-called FOIL and reverse FOIL methods with quadratics. These are absolutely essential skills for Algebra 1, used frequently on both the ACT and the SAT. So let's see how to do this. Okay, so FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. So if you have a quadratic like x plus 2 times x minus 4, we're going to first multiply the first terms in each set of parentheses. So x times x is x squared. Then we do the outside terms. X outside on this parentheses, negative 4 is on the outside here. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Now we multiply the inside terms. 2 and x is 2x. And then the last terms, positive 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Okay, now we're not quite done yet because we have to combine like terms. Namely, we put our apples with our apples, our oranges with our oranges. Here we have negative 4x and 2x. They combine when we add them to be negative 2x. So we're left with x squared minus 2x minus 8. Therefore, x plus 2 times x minus 4 is simply x squared minus 2x minus 8. And that's all there is to it. Let's practice a few more. Okay, so we multiply our first terms. X times x is x squared. Outside, x times negative 5 is negative 5x. Inside terms, 5 times x is positive 5x. And last, 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. And now when we combine our like terms, we see that the outside and inside terms, namely negative 5x and 5x, cancel. When we add 5x and negative 5x, it's 0. So we end up with x squared minus 25. When this happens, this is called the difference of two squares. Here we have a difference, which is minus, right? And then a square and a square, x squared and negative 25 here. Okay, let's try the next one with x minus 3 times x minus 4. You're probably getting the hang of this, but we'll keep on practicing. X times x, first terms, gives x squared. Outside, x times negative 4, negative 4x. Inside, negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And last, negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. Remember that when we multiply two negative numbers, we actually get a positive number. So now we combine our like terms, x squared, and then our like terms are negative 4x plus negative 3x, which is negative 7x plus 12. So x minus 3 times x minus 4 equals x squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay, last one here, x plus 2 times x plus 6. First, x times x, x squared. Outside, x times 6 plus 6x. Inside, 2 times x plus 2x. Last, 2 times 6 is 12. We combine our outside and inside terms, our like terms, and we get 8x. Therefore, we end up with x squared plus 8x plus 12. Okay, there you go. Now, let's take a look at what we call sometimes the reverse FOIL. For the reverse FOIL, we already have a squared plus 7a plus 12. Now we need to get it as we had it before. So we're just going in the opposite direction. So the first thing we can do is draw our parentheses. Okay. Now, the only way we're going to get a squared is by multiplying a times a. Here, since both of our signs are positive, we know that both of these signs must be positive. And then all we do is say, okay, what are our factors of 12 that when added give us 7? Well, it's not 1 and 12. 1 times 12 is 12, but when we add 1 and 12, we don't get 7. It's not 2 and 6, because 2 times 6 is 12, but 2 plus 6 is 8. I think it's going to be 3 times 4, right? Because 3 times 4 is 12, and when we add 3 and 4, we get 7. So we're going to put a 3 here and a 4 here. Again, it doesn't matter the order in which you list these. And then we can just, again, FOIL this to make sure we didn't make a mistake. A times A is A squared. Outside A times 4 is 4A. Inside 3 times A is 3A. 4A plus 3A is 7A. And lastly, 3 times 4 is 12, okay? All right, let's try a few more of the reverse FOIL, because sometimes that can get a little bit tricky, right? Okay, so now we have m squared minus 2m minus 24. So we're going to draw our parentheses, right? Once again, we can only get m squared by multiplying m times m, right? Okay, now, notice here that this 24 is negative. The only way we can get a negative 24 is if we have a positive number and a negative number, because a positive times a negative is a negative. So now again, we need to look at our factors of 24 that when added would give us a negative 2, right? Okay, well, 24 times 1 can't give us a negative 2, nor can 2 times 12. 3 times 4 won't, 4 times 6, excuse me, it's 24. 4 times 6 won't work here unless we make our 6 negative and our 4 positive. When we do that, we should get a middle term of negative 2. But let's try it out, right? We can always check it and see if we made a mistake. We have first m times m is m squared. Outside, m times negative 6 is negative 6m. Inside, 4 times m is positive 4m. And last, 4 times negative 6 is negative 24. When we add our inside and outside terms, we're going to get negative 6m plus 4m, which is negative 2m, and we end up with m squared minus 2m minus 24, which is indeed the same. So we didn't make a mistake there, okay? All right, let's try this. This looks again like the difference of two squares, right? So let's draw our parentheses. Again, we can only get b squared by multiplying b times b, right? And here, since this is a negative 121, we can only get a negative if our signs are negative and positive, right? And here, 121 is actually a perfect square. It's 11 times 11, right? So here, this is going to be b minus 11, and b plus times b plus 11. Now, when we FOIL this, we're going to see that again, as a difference of two squares, the outside and inside terms cancel, and we will end up with b squared minus 121. So let's prove it. First, b times b is b squared. Outside, b times 11 is positive 11b. Inside, negative 11 times b is negative 11b. So you see there, they're going to cancel. And then negative 11 times positive 11 is going to be negative 121. Outside and inside terms cancel, and we end up with b squared minus 121. So we indeed did do it correctly, right? Okay, let's try this last one. Y squared minus 10y plus 16. So we can draw our parentheses. We can only get y squared by multiplying y times y. Okay, now this is interesting. Here we have a positive 16, but a negative 10y, right? The only way we can possibly get a positive 16 with a negative middle term is if both signs are negative. Because again, a negative times a negative is actually a positive, right? Okay, so here, what are the factors of 16 that could add up to be negative 10 in some way? Well, we'd have 1 and 16, but that won't give us a negative 10 in any way. I think a 2 and an 8 will, though, right? So what about if we do y minus 2 times y minus 8? And let's check it to see if indeed we get this, right? So we get y times y is y squared. Outside, y times negative 8 is negative 8y. Inside, negative 2 times y is negative 2y. And last, negative 2 times negative 8 is positive 16. We combine our outside and inside terms and we get negative 10y. And we're left with y squared minus 10y plus 16. And there we go. So I hope you found this lesson on foiling and reverse foiling beneficial. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it with others that you think could benefit from it, and please hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all future videos. Thanks, and see you on the next video.